If there were suggestion you would like to put out to put an end to this carnage, what would that suggestion be, Mr. Farotimi?
It would be that the Nigerian state should stop being complicit in the murder of those who should be its own citizens. Sat right there in your studio, interestingly, in the exact same studio from where you're broadcasting today. I believe that was in 2022. Commodore Olawumi informed this nation how members of Boko Haram and Islamist terrorists were sat in Buhari's regime, and how a list of such sponsors had been given to that government since 2016. I don't hear anything about any one of those being talked about today. And yet the president was pointing comically at his service chiefs and ordering them, demanding to know where the murderers were, where the terrorists were, if anybody had been arrested. Is it the same government that had not arrested anyone since 2016 that is going to be chasing anybody around 9 years later? The critical thing is that the government needs to come clean and be honest about the fact that it is complicit in the senseless genocide that is going on in Nigeria. How can it be that we have a government, and the primary duty of any government, whatever kind of government it might be, whether it is theocratic, one-party state, 10-party state, it does not matter. Whether it is even a dictatorship, the primary reason a state exists is to protect the lives and properties of its citizens. And we've almost lost our capacity to be shocked. 200 human beings were murdered. And the president went to Benue and he was talking almost as if he was prepping for a campaign rally. And the only person who appeared to retain sufficient cognition to draw attention to the gravity of the occasion was a tortive. It was more or less like they went to dance on the graves of those they have not, some of whom may never even be identified before being buried in mass graves. So, in all honesty, let the state begin to do what it should do, protect the lives and properties, and stop being complicit. The complicity of this government, the APC, is established beyond argument, and it should just really repent and begin to protect Nigerian lives.
So what, Mr. Farotimi, when you say complicity, what do you mean?
Yeah. It's very clear. Let me just make a state. Let me make a case for this. It was Bugaje who came out and told each and every Nigerian, there's multiple videos online, and said that in the lead up to the 2015 election, the APC imported terrorists into Nigeria. He said so, and he made it very clear. Multiple times during the Buhari years, terrorists were attacking Nigeria, particularly in Kaduna, and they made it clear that they had a deal that had not been honored. They did not say so in hiding. They've been out in the public space. Multiple occasions, members of the Middle Belt Forum have come into the public space to speak of terrorist camp in the tri-state area between Benue, Plateau, and Nasarawa, and how members of the Nigerian security forces are well aware of these terrorist camps. I've never done anything about it. The president went to that place today, and you could hear him clearly talking as if we're dealing with a political problem. We're talking about over 200 human beings, somebody's children, somebody's husband, somebody's mother, somebody's father, human beings. We're not talking about, even if these were rats, it should be worthy of some sort of scientific curiosity to find out exactly what has happened. But we're talking about human beings, and the president is talking about committees. It's almost like it was a theater to fulfill all righteousness. The only thing is that it wasn't righteous at all. So if you're asking what the solution is, I'm saying the government needs to stop colluding. And if you still want further proof, listen to what Commodore Olawumi had to say in your studio. Commodore Olawumi was a spook. You don't hear those kind of people speak in the public space. And he came into your studio and he spoke without hesitation. He named names, at least as much as he could. But there was something curious that he said, if you go back and listen to that tape. He said he was confident that by 2023, when there was a change of government, we will be shocked by the revelation we will get. He presumed that the will of the people would prevail and that we would have a change of government in 2023.
Mr. Farotimi,
yes.
Whether those allegations of complicity are true or not, we hope that, you know, that forms part of the conversations that are being held behind closed doors. Speaking of which, one of the things that was, you know, visibly absent from the president's commentary yesterday was the capacity of the security agents to deal with the issues on ground. We cannot talk enough about that. Is there any optimism on your part that is being you know, addressed behind closed doors, because that speaks to the ability to respond to it, either it's in Benue or El Plateau or Nasarawa State? Are you optimistic that those conversations are being held behind closed doors?
Let me be very frank with you. There is very little about our situation to make one optimistic about the government's role in the insecurity playing out in Nigeria. If there is anything the government could possibly do, it might be to get out of the way of those who are prepared to defend themselves and let there be an end to this insinuation that the only thing the government ever do is to come before the attacks, disarm the local population, and then leave them as sitting ducks. So if the government and the security agencies are incapable of defending citizens, I think it was the DSS Director General that came out the other day, and he was counseling citizens to be prepared to defend themselves. That's not a bad idea. If it's time that we Kukuma recognize the fact that the state has failed and we may for a season be allowed to defend ourselves, I'm sure that Benue people are not incapable of defending themselves. If the state that has rendered them incapable of defending themselves would allow them to do so, they would defend themselves. So in reality, any security, any attempt to be imploring the security agents to do what they have refused to do for well over a decade, this didn't start with Bulaba. It started before him. And they haven't been able to do anything about this. Every time we talk about Benue, it's about blood, unnecessary blood being shed. Every time the middle belt comes into focus, that is what it's always about. So I'm not optimistic that the Nigerian security forces, in the absence of clear readiness by the government to change their operating instructions, they can't do anything. I was told that the last attack, they had a military formation, special forces, less than 600 meters away from the point where the massacre was taking place. What happened to the soldiers who will be there? Or they are waiting for instruction before they defend citizens. I have no confidence in the Nigerian armed forces. I'm sorry.